Okay, it's 10:30. Good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us on our first ever Zoom meeting for the Compliance Department here at the Housing Finance Commission. This is our first meeting, so as you can tell, we already had one glitch. Some of you started at 10 o'clock. And it was actually supposed to start at 10:30, so we apologize for that. Thank you for being very patient with us. Eric and I are going to be the speakers on this today, and we have a couple different jobs going on in the background that you probably can't see. As people are coming in, I'm going to have to admit them into the room and things like that. So if you hear a little bit of silence, it might be because I'm working on some technical things on our end. So let's just go ahead and get started. Thank you again. This is the 2020 Compliance Update. It's Eric and myself here today. And we are just going to go over today compliance updates. We are going to go over the new farm worker forms. We're going to go over the FAQs and COVID-19 related topics, and then we are going to go over electronic file submission. If for some reason you miss part of this webinar or you are having technical issues, don't worry. This is being recorded and we will be putting this up on our website. So if you hear something and you have a question about it, or you want to get somebody else to watch it, please direct them to our website and we should have it up, I don't know, here probably before the end of the week. So Eric, if you want to move on to the next slide. Maybe. Okay. As you guys entered the chat or the webinar this morning, you will notice that I did mute your microphone. If for some reason you unmute your microphone, please mute it again, but you shouldn't have that ability. We do have a chat box for questions. It's located if you go to the bottom of the screen, there's a little box that looks like a text box. You can click there if you have questions. But we're trying to ask you, since this is the first live recorded one, to email your portfolio analyst after this is over, or one of us, if it's property specific. Again, today we're going to go over updates and hot topics, special compliance guidance for owners and managers during the COVID-19 outbreak, farm worker certification changes, and then electronic file submission procedures. This is the compliance page of our website. As you will see, we updated 3 different things. The red things are the things that were updated. That's the compliance COVID-19 FAQs for owners and managers. You can see that the last updated one for this is below each thing. So the FAQs were updated, it looks like April 14th. The compliance memo for managers and owners during the COVID-19 pandemic was updated or posted March 16th. And then the guidance for owners wishing to provide temporary housing to victims of the COVID-19 pandemic was posted or updated on March 27th. Those red hyperlinks are available for you to click on, and it will take you directly to that topic. And then within there are pages of documents that were either emailed out or for you to look at. The first one that we're going to go over today is the FAQs. If you noticed on the last screen that we were on, it says it was last updated April 14th, and we are looking into that to get that date changed. But you can tell this one on your screen right now was updated April 17th. These FAQs were effective on April 1st, as you can see, and anything that was updated between April 1st and April 17th was updated, but the latest one would be highlighted in green. So on this particular one, if you went to page 4 of this document, you would see one that's highlighted in green that would tell you that it was updated most recently. Basically what this is if we had multiple questions come in or properties that needed guidance in regards to different things that are happening because of the pandemic, we listed a question and then an answer to go with that. And the answers and the questions are updated as often as we're getting them. In the beginning, we were getting lots of questions. They have kind of slowed down as of right now, but there still are quite a few questions out there. So basically, it just says that we are making some changes or we have some changes. The first one says what constitutes an affected or displaced household eligible for housing under this waiver. That's the question, and then the answer goes into detail about what we would like to see or what our response is in regards to your questions. Again, I won't go through all of it, but there are approximately 7 pages of FAQs. So if you have a question that's in regards to COVID-19, we ask that you please go to this FAQ. You can hit Control F and type in a word like household, and it will bring up anything that has to do with household. Or you could type up Control F and anything that has to do with lease up, it will pop up. So that is a searchable document. If you have questions, try there first. And then next, we will go on to a memo that was sent out from Val Pate and Melissa Donahue, our director and manager. This was sent out on March 16th. It talks about COVID-19 and how the commission is responding to it in regards to compliance. The implementation of alternative ways for applicants or residents to fill out annual recertifications, sign paperwork, and submit forms. This memo goes over that. We have updated our website and we have put electronic forms on there. If residents don't have access to electronic abilities, we ask that you become as creative as you can in getting the paperwork back to you. Your health is our first concern as well as your residents. So if there is no way for you to get the documentation that you need, please contact your portfolio analyst or make documentation about what happened. But this memo will go over our electronic signatures and ways that we have changed some of our forms in order to hopefully make it easier for you to work through an iPad or a laptop or phones even. There's so many different avenues for us to get that information back. It also goes over verifications that you're unable to get because your third party is not responding. We know that there are tons of businesses out there right now that are closed down or what have you, and trying to get those verifications back. We understand that it's going to be a little bit more difficult because of COVID-19. So again, document, make notes. If you have specific questions, contact your portfolio analyst, and we'll be able to hopefully get you some answers or some help in order to get that back. Any notes that you make sure that you make it in WBars, you make it in your system. You just keep a good running tab of what's going on at your property. The last thing that it talks about there is extended vacancy and rent-ready reporting. As you guys know, we did change that this year on the extended vacancy reporting report that you had to let us know of vacancies, unlike in the past. And we just want you to know that we are going to be a little bit more lenient because of COVID-19. We are going to be a little bit more lenient on rent ready, but that doesn't mean take advantage of the situation and not turn your units if you can. If you can't, we understand. If there is some issue that you're having and you can't get into the unit, your safety again, and your resident safety and your contractor safety, that is all our first concern here. So make notes, keep in contact with your portfolio analysts if you need to, or if you have questions. Again, none of us are working in the actual office, but we are all working remotely, and email is the best avenue to get a hold of your portfolio analyst. We'll give you that at the end of this webinar, and we'll also send that to you, and you can also access it on our website. So we are here to help, and those are just a couple of things on the website. And then the last thing that we wanted to go over today is, Eric, move forward. Guidance for owners wishing to provide temporary housing to victims because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Some of you that have been around for a while remember Hurricane Katrina, and that's where it was a presidentially declared major disaster area, and we were able to house applicants or people that were displaced because of a natural disaster or major disaster. And the same thing is happening right now for COVID-19. You will see on the website here, you can click on the hyperlink that talks about temporary housing notice to owners. What is the owner's responsibility in housing the tenants? And then the displaced household certification is also there. These were both published in March of 2020. And you will notice that the applicant's income needs to be below 60% of the applicable county's median income. And all that this household needs to do in order to qualify for this, or in order for you to house them, is they need to complete the displaced household certification form that's found on our website right here. And then you indicate that in W-bars. Remember though, that temporary emergency housing at tax credit properties is available through March 31st of 2021. So at that point, then you are going to have to qualify these residents. So this certification will last until March 31st of 2021. This is the displaced household certification form. Very straightforward, very easy. If you have tenants that you are trying to help because of this and you have questions, again, email us and we will get back to you. Again, we really want to emphasize that you are the first priority. Your health and your safety of you, your residents, and your staff is number one. Alternative paperwork completion is available. Delayed paperwork and verification delays we understand are happening, and unit inspections and unit turn policies have been lightened because of this. So again, try to keep great notes, try to do the best that you can do, and we are here if you have any questions. And then I'm going to mute myself and turn it over to Eric so he can talk about farm worker commitments. Eric, you should be good to go.
I think I am here. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. We are going to review some changes that we have made to the requirements and rules along with the forms to the farm worker commitments. So the farm worker requirements have changed. A farm worker household is considered a farm worker as long as it meets the farm worker definition per the RCW and Washington Administrative Code at move-in. Short answer to that is they touch the product. There is more information on that on the website. It's the same as it always has been. Also, the household must make $3,000 or more per year in income derived from farm work. What has changed is the household in the past, their income had to be at or below the 50% median income level. That is no longer the case. They can be up to the 60% income level at this time. However, be careful that some properties may still have the 50% income set aside requirement at the property. So in verifying farm work households, there's two parts. One, you need to verify the farm work status. Does the household meet the definition of farm work? And two, you need to verify the income from farm work. And to do this, we have revised, created, and deleted some of the farm worker forms. The revised form is the farm worker household initial certification. It is required at move-in. It is now a 2-page form. It has 4 parts on the 2 pages, and we will review these 3 forms. The next form that has been created is the verification of farm work status. This form is very similar to the employment verification, but it is not in lieu of the employment verification. This is to verify the applicant's farm work status and information to meet the farm worker set aside requirement. The next one is the farm work status verification or clarification by telephone. Very similar to the employment verification, clarification by telephone. Any information you don't get on the verification of farm work, you can use this to clarify some of that information. We have removed the W-2 certification form. It is now incorporated into the household initial certification. The purpose of these changes is to collectively obtain the information and take out much of the guesswork that has been common in the past. They're going to help complete the big picture, such as will they get unemployment? Are there layoff periods? Is there piecemeal, etc. Looking at the forms, this is the new farm worker household initial certification. This is page 1, part 1. Part 1 is completed by the household. Question A deals with the definition of farm work. Does the household member who works on the farm meet this definition? B is what is the monetary or income that the household members receive from farm work? All of the household members, their type of farm work that they do on the farm, their employer, and their previous 12 months earning, and their anticipated next 12 months earnings at those farms must be listed on this part. Once those are filled out, you go to question number 1. Does the household meet the monetary requirements? If it's yes, and question 2, will the primary occupation of at least one member of the household be continuing as farm worker in the next 12 months? Is yes, then this household is pre-qualified as a farm worker household. Now, if question number 1 and number 2 is a no, then the household will need to go to part 2 of this form, which are the exceptions listed in our manual regarding farm work. I am not going to go through the exceptions, but if they meet an exception for question 1 or 2, they may be pre-qualified. Remember, exceptions must be verified also. Part 3 of the new certification is where the head of household signs and attests to the information above. Part 4 of the household initial certification, management completes. Management takes the information from part 1, verifies this information, and then completes this section to verify whether or not they are qualified to meet the farm worker set aside definition and income. Questions down at, or the 2 boxes down at the bottom, yes, the household does meet them, and or 2, it does not meet them. So to verify this information, we're now going to use the verification of farm work status or W-2. Same verification procedures as the income and assets apply to the farm worker verifications. Attempt third-party written verification, or if you're unable to do that, attempt third-party verbal with statement, and 3, if you're unable to obtain that, second-party statement, which is a W-2 form. We all know who our third-party employers are that will or will not complete the verification forms. If it's a known employer who will not complete the verification forms, just like the income verification process, document that they're a known employer who will not fill out third-party written forms, and move on to the next verification, which is either verbal and or statement. Moving on to the verification. This is the verification of farm work status. The verification form asks the employer, this is the definition of farm work, does this employee meet the definition? It also includes additional information that is commonly questions at farm work employers. This form is not to be used in lieu of the employment verification, but it is to be used with the employment verification. Both forms may be sent to the employer at the same time for them to fill out. This form is specific to farm work and is used in conjunction with the employment verification to help fill in the gaps of income. The farm work status verification clarification by telephone is exactly like the verification of farm work status, except it has been added with sections to verify via telephone rather than third-party written. If you're unable to get this information, then just like before, you default to the W-2 forms. The W-2 forms need to be attached if you use those to the certification process. The new farm worker forms, make sure you count all anticipated income based on past history. You need to count the income from all of the employers that they've worked at. You need to count unemployment if they're going to receive it. And then if they have no income, how will they be paying their bills? That'll be a question you need to ask them and then verify. For example, if they say, I'm going to be utilizing my savings, but their savings is 0, that is something that you're going to need to question. And that is the section for farm worker. And I'm going to give it back to Crystal to continue with the electronic forms submission.
Thank you, Eric. That was great. And just a reminder, all those new farm worker forms are on our website. And if you have any questions, again, you can email us and we can go over that with you. As some of you have probably seen in your email recently, you have received probably a request for electronic files. The reason for that is, as you have seen before, sorry, I have to mute Eric. Okay, as you saw before in the beginning of our presentation, we said that we are not doing any more on-sites this year. We don't know if that will pick back up later, but as of this time, we have canceled all on-sites that were slated through the rest of 2020. So in lieu of that, we now have to get your resident files. And in order to do that, we are trying to cut back the amount of paper interaction that goes from agency to property. And so we have a job form link that will be sent out to you or has been sent out to you asking you to submit a zip folder with your resident files in it. This link that you see on your screen right now will be sent out to you via email if you are required to send it. So no need to write it down. it will be a link that comes in your email that you click on. When you click on that link, you'll get this page. It won't be completed like this one, but it will be just like this. It's going to ask you your portfolio analyst name for your property. Okay, that's going to be the person that sent you the email. Your first name and your last name. We want to know who's submitting it. So it's going to be the person that's submitting its first name and last name. The OID of the property. If you don't know that, that will be on the email that was sent to you. So look through that email. And then the property's name and your phone number. Not the property's phone number, not the regional office's phone number, but your phone number. That way, if we need to contact you because there's a issue with your submission, we can pick up the phone and easily figure out what phone number we need to call. The submit here, where it says choose a file, that's going to be the one zip file that you're going to unload or upload. Your property should only submit one time. If you have a very large property and it can't fit within our upload capacity, then you might have to submit 2 times, but you should not have to submit 1 time for each file. It should be 1 property file. And then your email address. That way, if we're having problems with your submission, we can easily look up your email address, send you back a response that says, hey, we have to figure this out a different way. It didn't come through right, or what have you. Make sure that you're looking at the scans that you scan in and save to your file, and make sure that they're clearly legible. We have had a couple properties that are scanning in, and when we open it, it's so light that you can't see it. So again, this is all information for us to be able to get back a hold of you if there's a problem with the file submission. So we're going to go over how to do a zip file, because some people are not aware of how that works. Basically, what you're going to do is you're going to have a part of your computer that comes up where you save your files at. You're going to hit the control button on your keypad, and then you're going to click on each file that you want to submit. Okay, so you're going to have like resident 101, 102, 103, so on and so forth. Hold down your control, click on all the files that you want, and then right click. When you right click on your mouse, you're going to go down to the option that says send to, and then you're going to go over to the right and you're going to hit compressed zipped folder. So when you do that, it will pop up another box and you're going to name that file that you're creating. That is going to be, if your property's name is Happy Valley Apartments, you're going to name it Happy Valley Apartments. And then when you click on that new zip folder that you created, you're going to open it up and you're going to see unit 101, 102, 103, whichever ones you put in there. Okay, so you're going to have one zip file named the apartment name, and then within that, it's going to be each residence file. Please don't send us one zip file with every file in one attachment, meaning one PDF that you created with 15 files in it. They should be individually in their own resident folder within that one zip folder. And if you have questions on this part, you can definitely, again, email your portfolio analyst, myself, Eric, anybody at the commission in our division. Here are our email addresses. Mine is crystal.white@wshfc.org. Eric's is eric.geeson@wshfc.org. This is on our website, and we are going to send out an email after this asking for, I believe, feedback. I'm not positive how that works, but it might ask you for feedback, and then it will also list all of our email addresses. You can leave us a message on that direct phone number phone. However, if you have caller ID that does not accept blocked calls, you more than likely will not get a call back from your portfolio analyst, because we are all working remotely. We are blocking our phone numbers to be able to call you back. So the easiest way is to email us. And when you email us, try to be specific in what you're asking. Send backup if you have something you want us to look at, and we should be able to email you back fairly quickly. Last thing I want to mention real quick before we say goodbye, Again, we want to really thank you for participating in this, and know that we are going in a direction to hopefully provide much more video content to you. We are working on right now. I know a lot of people are trying to get into training or get managers into training. We understand that need. So we are working on trying to get a fundamentals presentation electronically out to you guys. We're working on probably putting it in 4 different sessions for an hour to an hour and a half each, and uploading that live to our website. If you have anything out there that you're really questioning, or you have comments that you would like to give us, feedback based on this webinar, please email us. Thank you again so much for joining us, and everybody stay safe out there. Have a great day.